What did you all do to pay off $200,000 when you all got married? And here's the first part of the question. Give me just a ballpark of what was your combined household income and how long did it take you to pay off the $200,000 when you all first got married?
So we got married 2 years ago on this date, 2018. And like Alex said, we had about $200,000 to pay for.
Okay.
So I had $100,000 and how much?
I had just scaled right under 100. That was my goal before I got married, was to at least get it right below 100.
All right.
And so with that, like we told you earlier, we're pharmacists. So if you know anything about the annual income of a pharmacist, they pretty much make, six figures, right at 100,000. So you think about the government, taking taxes out, that's pretty much like 65,
yeah.
70,000.
Yeah.
Exactly. So that's not really much money. People think you're a doctor, you're a pharmacist, you got all this money, but it's really not that much money when the government takes its cut. Yeah. So that's pretty much how we paid for it. We kind of sat down, and for her, for me, I had in my mind that I wanted to pay off my debt in 10 years. The federal government has a program, the Student Loan Forgiveness Program, that's over 10 years. If you make the minimum payments, after 10 years, they will forgive all your loans. I was initially going to do that, but over the trips we made, just, driving different locations.
And while we were dating. So we were still dating. And what happened was my parents took Financial Peace University like that same year that I found out that I had that gap in my funding. Which is crazy. Yeah. So they took that, they learned all the things. And then that means when I graduated, my dad was like, oh, you're going to take this class. Okay. So I took the class after I graduated. Before I got my first pharmacist check, I had started that class. So when I got my first pharmacy check, all of my friends and everyone else in my class already had theirs spent. Me, the first cut I took out of my very first check was save $1,000. So I had that taken care of by like the second day of that class. So after I took the class, I started whispering in his ear a little bit, oh, there's this financial class you should take. He is totally about his own plan. He has his own numbers going down, all of this stuff. And we're still dating, so I can't force it. But once we both took jobs at the same hospital in Arizona and we moved across the entire U.S., I'm definitely old school. We stayed in our own separate apartments, even though they were like right next to each other. But when we would go on trips and drive and stuff like that, I would have on the Dave Ramsey show. Like I would have on the podcast just playing. And so
she forced me basically.
So I'm like, I mean, I get you have a plan, but like this plan,
this
like
is a proven plan, brother. I don't know if your plan is proven, but this guy right here, he got a proven plan. So I got to ask you, Brian, what was your hesitation at first? Like, why were you so like, like, why do you feel as if it took you a while to jump on board with it?
Well, I guess for me, like, I had never heard of Dave Ramsey. So when she kept playing it all the time, I was like, who is this guy? Like, he's always on the radio. He's pretty blunt with
screaming at people.
Yeah.
I mean, real talk. When I first heard him, I said, who the heck is this white man talking to me like this? Nah, cut up my credit cards? What? Who is this dude? I mean, I'm with you. I understand.
Exactly. Like the whole, cut your credit cards. And my dad always kind of taught me, like, at least have one with you as far as have a credit card. So that hesitation, as well as I already had my plan that I wanted to go with. So it was just like, my girlfriend at the time telling me, you should listen to this. You can pay off your loans and, quicker than versus 10 years. I was like, okay, she's got a point. So I think over probably like 3 or 4 times of listening to it, the trips that we made, I was like, okay, I made my mind up that I wanted to follow this guy, listen to his podcast and go from there.
And after we got engaged, I told him, I was like, conditions of our marriage is we need to go through premarital counseling and we need to take Financial Peace University as a couple. Because at that point, it had been a couple years since I took it. So I was like, oh no, like this is happening. So after we got married, we got married October, the next FPU class that was happening was January. Yeah. So January, as soon as January came, we hopped in the class, 9 weeks, probably ended end of February, early March. Yeah. And I mean, the rest was history. We were like, okay, let's pay it off as quick as possible.